Hi there, it's Denise Eckert from Balance Me Coaching, and I'm so happy to be on here because I love sharing information with you to reduce the stress in your life. And today I've got Dr. Katie Nall. Hi, Katie.
Hey, Denise, so glad to be here. Thank you for what you're doing and this amazing podcast that is helping so many people. I appreciate all your work.
Well, I'm really trying to help women globally reduce their stress.
Yeah.
Okay, so Katie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing?
Well, Denise, I have a PhD in mathematics education, which just saying that sometimes triggers stress in a lot of people. I was a late in life student going back to school after being out for 30 years. And part of my dissertation research is I wanted to help students figure out how to get past the last thing that was keeping them from graduate, which was that last math class. And I was working at a college at a time, and I was the administrator. And as I would tell them, oh, you only need one more class left to graduate. Let's get you registered. Well, they burst into tears. And I was like, what's wrong? I thought you saved the best for last. That's not the way they felt, Denise. And so I wanted to help them. And that's how I found tapping. In 2010, I watched Nick Ortner's Tapping Solution, which I recommend to everybody. He does it every year. It's great. And bought the book, bought the DVD, trained myself, and started having some success and thought, well, this is pretty interesting. Now, just to compare, Denise, it took me 4 years working full time at the college to complete my PhD in mathematics education. Once I saw the power in tapping and decided I wanted to train it, it took me 8 years working full time at the college to become a master trainer. I ended up having to take level 1, level 2, level 3, trauma, quantum. That's a whole nother interesting thing. I'm a supervisor, I'm a mentor, a trainer, and now I'm learning picture tapping. So can you tell I love it?
I dabbled in tapping at the beginning, and yes, Nick Ortner was the person that I went to at the beginning. And I haven't gone down the rabbit hole that you've gone down, but I love the results. It's so quick. You know, you acknowledge how you feel, you work through it, and you let it go. And what can you let our audience know about tapping? Because they've heard so many times me talking about tapping. Let's hear it from someone else.
Well, would you like to do a little session?
Sure.
Okay. So tapping is a somatic method. Somatic just means it's body and words. And it actually works on, I'm also a Qigong instructor. And there's something called piezoelectric, which has to do that when you actually are tapping on a cell, it creates electricity. So we're actually creating electricity in our body. So if you're game, Denise, I'll ask you a few questions and we'll do a little sample session here, okay?
Sounds great.
Okay, so tell me something that you have waffles about. Worries, anxiety, frustration, fear, lethargy, exhaustion, or stress.
I guess the economics of the country, you know, just I find things have changed so much lately with people holding on to their money and people not working right now because we're back in lockdown, and future and people. Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, it is scary. So when you think about the economics, what was the last time in the last maybe few days that you thought, oh, the economics are really scary right now?
Probably yesterday.
Yesterday? Okay.
Yeah.
Was it in the morning, afternoon, or evening?
I think I looked at the news because I don't normally look at the news. No, I was talking to someone. So probably mid-afternoon.
Mid-afternoon. Okay. Okay. So just got a few more questions. When you think about speaking with someone and you were talking about economics and it felt scary, from 0 to 10, where 0 is like, no big deal, things change, and 10 is the most scared you've been in your entire life, what number would you give that level of scary?
I'd say about a 7.
Yeah, it was pretty scary.
Yeah.
And from the top of your head to the bottom of your toes, Where do you feel that scary in your body right now?
Stomach, usually. Yeah.
In your stomach.
Always
Yeah,
in
we
the
carry a
stomach.
lot. Yeah, we carry a lot in our stomach. And is this a true statement? Right here, right now, I feel safe.
Yes.
Okay. Last question is, I'm going to ask you to repeat some words. And if I ask you to repeat something and you go, that's not true, or I would say it in a different way, would you be so kind as to repeat it in the words that you're comfortable with?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is lead your audience through where the tapping points are. And I've got a little prize for them at the end. And then we'll add words. Is that right? Okay.
Sounds
So we're going
great.
to start on the side of the hand between your wrist and your little finger. And you can use either hand. It doesn't matter. And we're going to tap right there on the side of the hand. And Denise, when we add words after we see all these points, I'm going to ask you to repeat a sentence 3 times right on this spot. Okay.
Okay.
The next spot is on the top of our head. And you can use either one hand or the other hand or both hands and do your monkey move and do it on the top of your head. And then the next spot, I'm warning you, I'm coming in for a close-up, okay? It's right there on the edge of your eyebrow above your nose. And then the next spot is on the side of your eye, between your eye and your hairline. And you can do either side or both, it doesn't matter. The next spot, Denise, is where I keep all my bags for a quick getaway, and that's under my eyes.
Yeah, I've got those too.
Yeah. And then the next spot is below my nose, above my lip. And then below my lip, above my chin. And then on our collarbone, I like to cross my wrists so we get a kind of an extra added bonus there. And then the last spot is about 4 inches under our arms. Let's give our ribs a good thumping. So we go. So those are the 8 spots. And they can be done in any order. It's just easier for me to remember if I go from top to bottom. So I'm going to add the words as we do this. And again, I'd like for you to change them up if you feel the need to. Okay.
Sounds great.
Okay. So on the side of the hand, we'll start and say, even though.
Even though.
When I remember that conversation yesterday in mid-afternoon.
When I remember that conversation yesterday in mid-afternoon.
Right now, I still feel a little scary in my stomach.
I still feel a little scary in my stomach.
Right here, right now, I feel safe.
Right here, right now, I feel safe.
Even though
there's
still some scary in my stomach.
Even though I feel some scary in my stomach.
Thinking about that conversation yesterday afternoon.
Thinking about that conversation in the afternoon.
Right here, right now, I feel safe.
Right here, right now, I feel safe.
Even though
yesterday
afternoon, I had that conversation.
Yesterday afternoon, I had that conversation.
And my stomach has some scary in it right now.
And my stomach has some scary in it right now.
Right here, right now, I feel safe.
Right here, right now, I feel safe.
And then on the top of your head, and just say, scary in my stomach.
Scary in my stomach.
On the edge of the eyebrow, right above the nose, scary in my stomach.
Scary in my stomach.
On the side of the eye, scary in my stomach.
Scary in my stomach.
Under the eye, scary in my stomach.
Scary in my stomach.
Under the nose, scary in my stomach.
Scary in my stomach.
Under the lips, scary in my stomach.
Scary in my stomach.
On the collarbone, scary in my stomach.
Scary in my stomach.
And then under your arm, scary in my stomach.
Scary in my stomach.
And then Denise, I have my clients add an extra added thing. Put your hands on your shoulders and go down to your elbows with a cartoon exhale. It looks like this. Well, that was so good. So Denise, when you think about that conversation you had yesterday about economics in the future, how's your stomach feel and how scary does it feel now?
You know what? It feels like it was eons ago. Like it doesn't feel like yesterday, and I feel safe. You know, it's just
So that's what tapping is. I literally have been working with clients all over the world on a variety of different waffles. It started off working with students who have math anxiety, and I still have students who do that. I just worked with a group of graduate students from Harvard and helping them overcome their fear and anxiety while I was tutoring them in statistics. And that worked really well as a group. Because I'm a big believer that everyone can learn math, everybody can learn any subject. And once we get over the negative emotions that we have trapped, right, in our body. Mm-hmm.
So when should we be using these stress removers?
Oh, that's a great question. Denise, I have friends who tap for 1 hour a day, every day, because we have like stressors like coming on us all the time. We have something called a personal peace journal, which is we were instructed during class to list 100 things we need to tap on. And at first I was like, 100, I could double that easily. Well, I got to like number 37 and I was like, oh, well, maybe that lady in the store the other day was rude to me. I mean, I couldn't come up with enough stuff, but every day we get more stressors, right? And the thing of it is that and what a lot of my clients say, especially I have a lot of clients who are very right brain, very logical. And what they've noticed in working with tapping is that they are starting to identify negative emotions, because our culture has been to squash negative emotions. Oh, don't cry. Oh, you don't have anything to be upset about. Oh, you think this is bad? There's even worse. And
get over it.
Yeah, get over it. Exactly. You're so right, Denise. And so identifying those negative emotions is huge. And where are you holding it in your body? And then tapping right away is a great idea. Now, you may not want to be in the conference room with a whole bunch of peers tapping away. Mm-hmm. So there are other things that you can do. I have binary feet, which I teach people, breathing, other things. But then remember that. And at home by yourself, to tap on your own. You'll see me driving around town, Denise, with one hand, just keeping this other hand ready for when that idiot pulls out in front of me. I can't believe they pulled out in front of me. Who do they think they are?
So with my membership, I'm at the Relaxation Lounge. I promote short, sweet relaxation practices. Now, what are the benefits of doing something like tapping a couple times a day, or as the norm?
Yeah. So the number one response I get from most of my clients in the last 12 years has been, I feel so much lighter. I mean, everybody, that's the number one feeling. I feel so much lighter. So that feeling of lightness, which is interesting, Denise, because nobody comes in to see me and says, I feel heavy. They don't even recognize that they feel heavy. But one of the benefits is the lightness. Now, there's been clinical studies. Let me see. Dr. Peta Stapleton has done a really good job on the science of tapping. And she's found that there have been hormonal changes. There's all kinds of physical things that happen on our bodies from tapping. So there's a lot of really good benefits. Tons.
Yeah, amazing. And are there any other practices that you would like to share?
Well,
you mentioned something about picture tapping.
Yeah, picture tapping is fun. When people come in and they may have a global issue, like I'm feeling overwhelmed. And if I ask them, well, what do you feel overwhelmed about? They're like, no, I feel overwhelmed about everything. Well, picture tapping is really, really good. What we do is they have ask them to get some markers and some blank paper, and to not draw what the issue is, but draw how they feel about the issue. And I just happen to I have permission to share these because these are all case studies, but it can be as simple as just a sad face. It can be really complicated, like people can draw lots of things involved into it. One of my favorites is, let's see if I can find it, because they can draw anything. It doesn't matter. I've had people who draw the entire page as blue scribbles, the entire page. They draw a square or what's the other? Oh, and then sometimes there's a completely blank. That's blank. But then what we do is we tap on how you feel about the picture. So I even have this one flat. They couldn't do anything. And that's fine because there's nothing wrong. So then you get to do an analysis based on where it is on the page, what kind of things they did, how many objects they did, and you tap on the picture. That's all you tap on. So like the one that was a sad face, we talk about the color, where it is on the page, how large the pit, and it's all we do is tap on the picture itself. We don't even mention the overwhelm. And in the process of doing that, I've had some pretty amazing breakthroughs. I've had a couple people that came in that were very, what's the word I want to use? Controlled, very controlled. They knew where they were going, what was going on. And by the second or third picture, and this isn't the goal, but this is the result, they burst into tears. And it's like, well, what happened? And the breakthroughs are that dramatic that they're allowing themselves to release, basically to release. Yeah. So that's been an exciting and fun kind of tool to put in my toolbox.
Wonderful. So we're going to start wrapping this up. Are there any words of wisdom coming from Katie that you'd like to share with the audience?
Well, Denise, I think in our times that we're living, I think the best thing that we can understand is that this too shall pass. I like to think sometimes that, can you imagine being living in a cave decades ago, and you go out of the cave and one time it's night and another time it's day, but you didn't understand day and night. One time you go out, it's cold, and another time you go out and hot. You didn't understand the difference between the seasons. And what we're in right now is a season. And so as we are moving and evolving through the season, know that this too shall pass.
Wonderful. So for the audience, I'm going to put her information in all the show notes, and I'm going to tag her in all the social media. Do you have anything that you can offer the audience for them to get in touch with you, or something special?
Yeah, Denise. So I'm going to challenge your listeners that they can email me at hello@drnall.com, or not many people do, but I will invite them to call me. And they can call me at area code 772-226-0167. If I can't take the call right away, leave a message. I will call you back. I just had a lovely phone call with somebody this last weekend who wanted to know more based on the podcast that they'd heard. And for your listeners, if they go on my website and scroll down to the bottom, they can receive a free tapping chart, so they can know all the points on where to tap themselves.
Wonderful. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for your time, and what wonderful information that you've shared with us.
Thank you, Denise.
If you're looking for more ways to reduce the stress in your life, please visit www.therelaxationlounge.info. Here I've got access to a free Facebook page where you can get support, information on the podcast where I interview different individuals who share their techniques to help you reduce your stress, plus a membership that you can join where you can come and do stress-reducing practice on demand anytime you need to reduce the stress in your life and create more happiness in your world. I'll see you in the lounge.